It's electric football. It's electric football, and it's double digits, week 10.
Here we are.
And I got to ask you a question here. Why?
Well, the sky is falling in Miami, and I don't want to be hit by it, so I'm wearing some protective gear. Come on, Dolphins, what? Ah!
All right, let's jump right into it. The Richie Incognito thing is covering everything. When I first heard of Jonathan Martin leaving the team, I wrote Stu and I said, like, what's going on in your locker room? Question mark, ha ha
Right,
ha.
right.
But evidently there was some really serious nonsense going on in that locker room.
I don't know what the facts are. I did read I did read the transcript of the voicemail. Not hearing the voicemail as it was, read by Cognito. Was it in a joking fashion or not? I don't know. I find it really hard to believe, and I don't want to. I'm totally against bullying. Believe me, I'm having a hard time believing 350-pound men are being bullied, but I guess it can happen. But in a locker room, nobody else stood up for this. I mean, this was secretly happening. I just question it. So I'm not gonna pass judgment on anybody till I know facts. We're all speculating on what happened off of one tweet mail or whatever it was.
Oh, I'll pass judgment. I'm like that.
Go ahead.
I'm quick to judge.
I'm not.
It seems to me that everybody, we're football fans. We like the tackling, we like the blocking, we like the violence. But it seems to me everybody's going, well, why didn't he just punch him in the face? I'll tell you what. If he did just punch him in the face, that might or might not solve the beef between Incognito and Martin. By coming out like this, and by this becoming such a giant issue, it may actually solve the problem on a lot of levels. Because it definitely happens. Don't even doubt
It's
that it
in every
happens.
locker room, in every sport, in every city, in every level.
Right, and this definitely exposes it, and it's going to knock it out of the NFL, and maybe it convinces a few people not to be at. I'm not going to say that word. um,
Arsenic and old laces.
yeah, so no, we don't know all the facts. I'll tell you, things look really bad for Richie Incognito, who already had a bad reputation. The Dolphins are
Oh, he's
supposedly
done.
very close to cutting ties with him, so unless he can pull a rabbit out of his hat or something out of his.
No, there was a statement made, and I believe it. He's done in Miami for certain, and quite frankly, he's probably done in the NFL.
Yeah, so you got to wonder if pushing a guy around and getting $15,000 for a trip to Las Vegas, you got to wonder if that was worth your $1 million NFL career. Anyway, let's move on to some happier stuff. Let's move on to the game. Unless, did you have something else?
Well, I think we should mention we want to send our good wishes out to two fellows who, all of a sudden, you've got two teams without a head coach, but Gary Kubiak in a very scary situation during the game the other night on national television, dropping to a knee with some really scary looks on his face. I thought he was going to die there on television, which also leads me to the point where let's not show that. And then, of course, John Fox, who's going in for some kind of procedures. We're wishing them both the best as they recover.
Well, in defense of the TV, they didn't know exactly what was going on. Nobody knew that he was having evidently a mini stroke. But we do. Electric football always wishes the best for.
We do. We don't like to see
NFL
anybody
family.
suffer like that for sure.
So best wishes in their recovery.
All right, let's go to the games, which is why we're here.
Okay, my Vikings, my Nordic, Nordic invaders, to be politically correct, go against what did Greg Easterbrook call them? The Chesapeake Watershed Indigenous People.
Yes.
And actually, another kind
Go.
of interesting thing that got sort of overlooked was how crazy the Redskins were about security. They're very, very worried about protests in their stadium.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is one of those seasons where I really don't even like to see the Vikings on TV anymore. It's really been painful. Last season appears to have been a complete aberration. And we've got one of the lowest ranked defenses. We are the worst at getting out of after third downs. We just can't get that D off the field. So right now I'm starting to root for one of those like let's tank it the rest of the way and let's get a top three. Yeah, make a rhyme with Clowney because that appears to be the way we need
Go
to go.
Downy for Clowny.
That was not rehearsed.
Copyright 2013.
Okay, so I'm going to take the Skins, who are coming off a big overtime win. They were able to pound the ball, and I don't see the way that the Vikings have anything in this one.
I think the Vikings are playing out the string right now, but I also think the Skins defense is old. I'm going to go with AP, able to run on this team at home. I'm taking your Vikings. Go figure.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm starting to root for teams like the Jaguars and Tampa
I know,
Bay.
just to make it interesting.
I may have to pick the Jags. Eagles at the Packers, and boy, you couldn't talk about two teams that went in opposite directions
Didn't
this
this get
week.
interesting?
Aaron Rodgers evidently has a small break of the collarbone, which it's surprising it doesn't happen more often. If any of you have ever done any wrestling or done any sort of contact sports, it's real easy to break a collarbone. I mean, real easy to break a collarbone. It's surprising that having 250-pound men slam you to the ground, the collarbones aren't snapping all over the place.
Well, it depends on how you do it.
Nick Foles comes back from a concussion and just goes, yeah, 3 quarters, 7 touchdowns. I mean, he could have shattered that record if they had actually wanted
Yeah.
to. Having said all this, Eddie Lacy still put up a big running game, and I honestly believe that the Packers will control the ball. I don't know who Seneca Wallace. I don't know if they're going to bring Matt Flynn back.
They're talking about it. That's what I saw today.
I honestly believe that the Packers can win this game and will win this game.
Yeah, this is two of the top 4 offenses in the NFL colliding. However, it's a different version of each offense than you would normally have expected coming into this type of game. Both are missing their franchise quarterback, but I do like the Eagles here. They just look like they're a little better in sync. But Lacy's a beast, man. Oh my God.
Well, go Jags, go! I'm now rooting for the Jags. Talk about a state that's football teams are just a mess.
Yep.
Florida is just a mess. I mean, evidently the Jags are going to be heading to London. We all know how I feel about that. You've got Justin Blackman going out on rehab now,
Yep.
and we've already talked about Miami's situation, Tampa Bay's situation is a mess. So I don't see any way that any Florida team wins again this season. I'm just picking. I'm not picking Florida teams the rest of the way.
I wouldn't surprise me. It's a toothless jungle cat walking into a team that still has some slim playoff hopes. I mean, they are 4-4. Lord help the coach loses to Jacksonville. I'm taking Tennessee here.
All right. You want to talk about yeah, you almost have to. What about two teams that got whooped? The Bills at the Steelers, and they got beat in opposite fashions. New England's offense just took apart the Steelers,
Yep.
and the Chiefs' defense just took apart the Bills. I don't know what you take out of either of those games. I really don't. I think the Bills are getting a little healthier. I think the Steelers are a step slow on defense. I'm going to take the Bills in this one.
Yeah, it was a nice fight by Buffalo for the first half. Pitt did some nice things on offense, honestly, against the Patriots. Patriots aren't all that on defense either. They just happen to have a really great game against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh sucks against the run, and that is the Bills' strength. If you saw Jackson and Spiller trading off the other day, but Kansas City finally figured it out and stopped them. I don't think Ben's going to lose here. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Okay. By the way, we had a crappy week last week, so it's probably a good thing that we're splitting on a lot of these picks.
I think we're going to split a lot.
Raiders at the Giants, and the well-rested Giants at home going against a Raiders team that gave up 7 touchdown passes in 3 quarters. Terrell Pryor is dangerous, but I got to think that Eli Manning is walking around with a drool cup, looking forward to trying to match Nick Foles. I'm taking the Giants. They're on off a bye, have 2 victories in a row. Still have some reason to play. Give me the Giants.
I don't care. Take Eli. Next.
All right. Rams at the Colts. And this is one where the next man up thing actually kind of worked out. So Reggie Wayne goes down and T.Y. Hinton, comes through. And the Rams have not shown a lot. They've got a decent pass rush.
Yeah.
They're always feisty.
Yeah.
There are a few teams right now like that. Tennessee always puts up an effort, but they're always right there on sort of, and then they lose the game. Give me the Colts in this one, and I will go back to one of the things I love to do is talk about when I was wrong. I was evidently very wrong about Trent Richardson. I'm hearing stuff now that there's questions about his work ethic, and
really,
yeah, I'm hearing that it might be got the money, gave up the effort.
It doesn't look like it to me. He's on a new team, barely a couple weeks. He was traded, 2-3 weeks into the season.
Yeah, but why was he traded?
Because Cleveland's stacking up for next year. Let's face it. And you know what? They're not going to get that great a pick because they keep winning. Indy had such a huge comeback against Houston, albeit under very strange circumstances. I can't see them losing here at home. They're going to fire on all cylinders against the Rams. I think it's closer than you would think, but the Colts by 10.
Other thing that I really like to do is go perfect. Seattle at the That's patented, folks.
It is. It's
Uh,
copyrighted and patented.
Seattle at the Falcons. And Seattle's been very shaky recently,
Mm-hmm.
and Seattle does not travel well. But one way to get unshaky is to play against the Falcons this year.
Yeah.
Probably no, not even probably, the most disappointing team this year, the Falcons. Give me Seattle to right there. They're still winning. They're just
Yeah.
winning shaky.
What this would have been the NFC Championship game in a lot of people's minds at the beginning of the season, honestly.
Yeah, mine.
Now it's a possible letdown week for the Seahawks, you would think. But did Atlanta give up on Mike Smith? I mean, they just look like we don't give a crap anymore. I think they did, and I think Atlanta, although they've won the last three in this series, it's going to end there, and it's the Seahawks. Probably close.
There you go. Good stat there. Last three.
Yeah.
Bengals at the Ravens, and you want to talk about a division flipped on its head. This division is exactly opposite of what you would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals and the Browns are ruling the division, and the former Kings, the Ravens and the Steelers, are on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I really like that to continue, even though it's in Baltimore. I like the Bengals in this game. I know they lost key defensive player.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to matter.
They lost a lot of guys against Miami clusterfucks last week, and I think they felt the sting of defeat in that game. I mean, it's a game they clearly could have won, and quite frankly, with the mess that my team is in right now, they should have won that game had it not been for Cameron Wake being just an amazing beast on defense.
What a great play! And by the way, I email him about what a great play, and he complains about how little they had the ball in the third quarter.
We'd have the ball for 2 freaking minutes.
Enjoy a win, dude.
You're lucky in the game when you run the 3 and out in one 15-minute period.
Enjoy a win on a fantastic finish on a great play by Cameron Wake.
It was an exciting ending. Bengals here.
Okay. Lions at the Bears, and the Bears are coming off a really great effort against the Packers. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, defensive turnovers, sacks. Josh McCown, played frighteningly well, and a guy that's actually played above his head as far as I'm concerned, Alshon Jeffries. I expected him to be a
catch last night.
Fat lazy Gamecock, but he actually is playing really well. There was some rumors pre-draft that he had ballooned up and he didn't care, but still, you can take Alshon Jeffries, you can slam him into Brandon Marshall and make a human centipede of wide receivers, and they're still not as good as Megatron. With the Lions in this game, I'm taking them.
Really?
Yeah.
It's hard to pick this one. The Bears have just won a big game on the road. That was a huge win when you look at this season so far. And the Lions are susceptible outside. I wish I could take Detroit here, but I'm taking the home team. I just like the Bears defense.
There you go. I am taking a lot of road teams.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Feeling a little bad about it. We've got Carolina at San Francisco, and man, this has really turned into a good game. I said a couple weeks ago, every once in a while I do say something right, and a couple weeks ago I said Carolina could turn into a really dangerous team. One of the reasons is on defense, their front seven is underrated.
Uh-huh.
They're frighteningly underrated.
Nobody talks about the Panthers.
And, they've got a solid, if not spectacular, running game, and they've got, a very versatile quarterback. Steve Smith is still out there, feisty as ever.
Yep.
And I still think they'll lose this game.
Oh, I do too. It's a better game. It's a better game than 3 weeks ago. There was a couple games with Carolina looked like they were going down again. But I think ravishing Ron Rivera is fighting for his job here. He opened up a can of worms on offense. They're playing balls out football right now, and I think San Francisco, puts the Panthers' balls on the wall this time. But it's going to be a good game.
Wow, Stu's working a little blue this week.
A little blue.
So Houston at the Cardinals, and Case Keenum. There's another question, another man up. Case Keenum has really made an impact.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have won over that job, that's for sure. Matt Schaub is carrying the clipboard, I guess.
He's done.
I think the Case Keenum era starts here. I think they win this game easily.
I think losing their coach halfway through a game that they were really winning by leaps and bounds really put a hole in them, and you could tell it was just a tale of two halves, and obviously the concern for their coach created the change in the momentum in that game. I think they're going to take that out on the Cardinals this week.
There you go. The Broncos at the Chargers, and the Chargers are coming off one of those hangover losses. It's hard to get over a loss like that. The Broncos are my team until there's a reason for them not to be my team, meaning I'm picking. They're not my team. I'm not
Picking them till they
I'm
lose.
not switching into a Bronco, but I'm picking them until they lose, and I'm picking them after they lose the next week. So
Yeah.
I don't see the Chargers winning this. Should be an exciting game though, with two quarterbacks really flinging the ball around.
Yeah, it's actually a closer game than you think it is. If you look at the team statistically, they're pretty even both on offense and defense. Um, for the life of me, I can't root for Peyton Manning anymore. I'm just go. So let's go down the lazy
Oh
rivers
man,
and I'm
what is?
taking San Diego.
Why would you hate on Peyton Manning?
I'm just tired of it. Go home now.
Wow.
Come on. How many times does a guy get to pick a team to go to? Go home.
I disagree. It's a mercenary league with guys jumping all over the place trying to get a ring.
Yeah, but he did it twice in the beginning of his career, and now.
You know what?
No other quarterbacks do except the Mannings.
I pick what company I want to work for.
Two QBs got to choose where they went, Eli and Peyton.
Or at least I try to pick what company I want to work for. I've worked for some bad ones.
They
I'm in a
haven't picked you
very
yet, right?
good one right now, boss. I just want you to know that. Anyway, the evil, hated, just monstrosity that is the Cowboys
the
are
boys
traveling
versus the altar boys.
are,
This week.
are traveling to
Oh.
go against the Holy Saints,
Uh,
and the Saints are coming off a massively disappointing game.
really, you just lost to the Jets. You suck.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the Jets. I mean, up and down, jeez. But
I'm not taking them this week.
yeah, it was surprising that
They're off.
that the Jets were able to handle the Saints. I don't think that the Cowboys can. I think the Cowboys' defense is very, very porous. I think the Saints are going to be very motivated and at home where they play much better. I think they would have beaten the Jets had Darren Sproles not gone out of that game because we love that little Darren Sproles. So give me the Saints to win this one and pretty much crush those evil Viking-beaten Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, only the Vikings could make Tony Romo not look like a choke artist.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I had taken the Cowboys in this game, but I think you did a fair description of why they're not going to win this week against New Orleans. I want New Orleans to win because you sucked against the Jets, but I'll take them.
Okay.
Change
And then
my mind.
we're gonna let Stu look at the battle of the locker rooms. Evidently,
this is which of the coaches is going to be gone first. I really believe Philbin's lost this locker room now. I think top to bottom, this organization needs to sweep it clean. I mean, I'm telling everybody but the owner has to go. Parking lot attendants, street sweepers.
No, keep those guys.
No,
Come on, those streets are sweet.
There's something stinky going on in the swamp, and you got to go top to bottom.
Take out management. Keep the minimum wage guys. They need that job.
All right, I'll go with that. Shiano, it's just a matter of time when they're going to fire him. It's going to be who's going to go first. Philbin will probably ride the season out and then be fired because really, where's he going to go? And who are they going to throw in there? Mike Sherman? He hasn't done anything specifically to make you confident that he can win a few games with this team. I think the team's imploded. Nobody's probably going to get along anymore unless they're resilient, which I don't get a sense of. Shiano already called Rutgers to see if he can rent the house that they built for him, so he'll probably be back in New Jersey. However, because you can't spell stupid without STU, I'm taking the Dolphins.
All right, I don't blame them. I actually think that this might be Tampa Bay's one chance to get a win this year.
Very well will happen.
I think I would rather deal with a MRSA infection than like RICO statutes. Like what's his name? Tony Sperano's gone, but the Soprano gang evidently got in the locker room and was shaking down guys in the Dolphins. It is amazing that the different problems the NFL can throw at you each season. Aaron Hernandez, coaches having heart attacks, just stuff you would never ever expect to happen. And one of those is guys getting shaken down in their own locker room.
Yeah. It's league wide though.
Yeah, it depends on the locker room and who your veteran leaders are, and I guess Miami doesn't really have.
What's interesting is those guys are rallying around incognito. I mean, I find it odd.
That's not even interesting; it's disturbing.
Again, facts, man. Until facts come out.
Okay.
I was watching ESPN today, and they interviewed Dan Le Batard, who they played an audio tape of him talking to incognito last year when they were hazing Ryan Tannehill, and Le Batard was chuckling about it. Oh, now it's disgusting. Last year was funny. This year it's not funny because there's charges of racism or everything. I don't know. Everybody's effed up in this league. I'm telling you.
Depends on what you know and what you don't know. If you know that we threw a pie at him or something like that, kind of funny. If you find out that he's shaking the guy down and threatening his life, not so funny. Anyway, I'm gonna do a quick. If you're still here watching this, God bless you. I'm gonna do a quick. I'm gonna take a quick shot at some of the other shows.
An EF shot.
We love the YouTube community that has the
Embrace us.
prognosticators. They've been great to us. I gotta say one thing. I'm a little weirded out by